Hello, this is Julian with Sanatio Strauss and CannabisOils.ca. I am putting together a video today and not really sure what I'm going to talk about. I was just about to head out of the house and thought, filming in a car comes with all kinds of pitfalls and annoyances, so I thought I would do this from the living room real quick before I left for the day. Number one, I suppose what I'm looking at or talk about today is going to be the current state of the medical cannabis program in Canada and the issues with said program for patients. Now, I'm not sure if you're aware, but currently medical cannabis has generally been grown by designated growers. Myself and my company are designated growers for about 7 prescriptions or 7 licenses in Canada. And how we've been managing ourselves, much like most dispensaries that have permits to grow, is we provide patients on medical disability with their cannabis and cannabis-derived products pretty well for free, on the grounds that anything we grow within the allotted framework that the federal government has put in place is then taken from the patients and redistributed to other patients at a severe discount, at a serious discount, to allow the financial viability of a prescription for medical cannabis, because as most people are aware, medical cannabis is very expensive. So what we've been able to do through the help of the patients we grow for and for the patients we produce extracts for is produce a very, very subsidized product based upon and working within the current framework and construct of the legislation. Now, as most people are aware, that's about to change, and that's going to change in a number of weeks. Now, a lot of people in my industry we're hoping for a 9-month extension while we work out the supply system for the medical framework that's coming into play in Canada. And that medical framework is going to be a series of legislated and registered or certified growers that would then provide the market with medical cannabis. Now, I believe there was approximately 35 licenses that had been spoken about being that were pending to be handed out, with 400 or 500 companies applying for those licenses, our company being one of them. Now, the issue, of course, is that 60 to 70% of all medical cannabis patients are on a fixed income, on disability of one form or another. Under the old framework, we were able to provide cannabis for maybe $4 a gram, which was something that, for the patients we grew for, $1 a gram. As well as extracts, whatever that equivalent price break is in regards to the quantity of medical cannabis we use, extract a specific quantity of oil that we would then use for tinctures and edibles, or edible oil. Under the new guideline, we're no longer able to do that. And what that means is 60 to 70% of the medical patients in Canada cannot afford their medication. Now, there will come a time when the pharmaceutical industry that is currently leveraging itself like crazy to get into the cannabinoid market, or the different delivery mechanisms for cannabinoids through a pharmaceutical, there will come a time when that will be subsidized underneath the Canadian healthcare system, meaning your prescription benefits, if you're on disability, will be covered, and all of the rest. Now, we're looking at a couple of years of R&D before these products are available to the market. Obviously, we need a whole lot of studies, a whole lot of research, and a whole lot of work that we should have been doing the last 5 years or 8 years that hasn't been done, or hasn't been done in any way, shape, or form to match the market demand. Now, so as we switch to a new program, new medical marijuana provisions in Canada, the number of designated growers, the number of companies that have successfully applied and entered the legal cannabis medical marketplace is very small. I believe it's 7 or 8 companies, and we need thousands of pounds of medical cannabis a month. And there is no way, under current rules and regulations and under current licenses that have been awarded and under the current framework, that regardless of the price, that medicine can be then distributed amongst patients. But I mean, again, that's not the most serious of the issues. Of all of the issues involved, you aggregate them all together and you have a look at them and you see who comes to the top. And the number one issue is going to be price availability. Basically, what we have in Canada now is a really good recreational marijuana market, meaning we can go to anybody who can write a prescription for antibiotics, basically, and get a medical marijuana license. And then that licensee can then contact a grower and pay between $9 and $14 a gram for their medicine. Now, which is great for the recreational medical market. When we're talking about patients under dire circumstances, under serious financial and economic stress and burden, with obviously a lot of the times the head of the household or the household or the sole provider to that household being on disability and being on a fixed income, the ability for that patient to then turn around and spend the $14 a gram for their 5 to 7 to 20 to 100 gram a day prescription is pretty well impossible. I mean, not pretty well, it is impossible. If you do the math, even if you say 3 grams a day, it's $30 to $50 a day. $30 to $50 a day for a medicine that will literally keep you from dying via choking on your own vomit, or keep you with the ability to get up and walk around, or to manage your stage 4 cancer, stage 3 cancer, or and whether that management is just symptomatic management or whether that is systematic management is going to be dependent on the human body and the quality and quantity of cannabinoids used, as well as their reaction to them. So again, it's not available to the people that fought tooth and nail for the last 30 years to bring cannabis to the medical marketplace. Now, obviously, any step in the direction towards decriminalization is something that we're going to be strong advocates for. But when we're talking about decriminalization, and when we're talking about an endless set of bureaucratic nonsense in order to take advantage of that program, obviously that's not something that we're looking for the end game. That's not something that we're looking for as medical advocates in Canada, dealing with the chronically ill and dealing with an awful lot of symptom and system management for terminal disease and terminal illness. So again, that is one of our big pushes here, which is just getting the word out as to the nature of what this new program entails. And what that nature is creating a recreational market under the auspices of medical cannabis. That is dictated by supply and demand, but this is not free market capitalism, supply and demand. There is involved what we call in the financial industry regulatory capture, meaning a few companies have the licenses and they use those licenses and the force of the government to keep everybody else out of the industry, to keep demand very high and to keep the price very high and to keep the supply very low. So we're back into a system of horribly inflated prices and a distorted view of what the medical cannabis market really is and who can access that medical market. So what we've done is we've priced people that can actually take advantage of the benefits of cannabis out of the cannabis market. We have created a system in which recreational medical cannabis users with very little symptoms, I mean we're talking sleep or anxiety or stress, who have a full-time job, who aren't disabled, can afford to access medicine. So from my perspective, from the perspective of my company, and the perspective of my industry, or the aspects of my industry, the pieces of my industry that haven't decided that the lesser of two evils is the lesser of evils, is obviously the path that we're going, that we would like to correct. Now, how we correct that is going to be dependent upon our patients, our caregivers, and the community. We've advanced leaps and bounds in regards to getting people to understand that medical cannabis users are not hanging out in their parents' basement eating Doritos and smoking pot with a glass bong as big as my living room. Medical cannabis users are real people, our grandmothers, our mothers, our fathers, our children, our sons and our daughters that are in severe need for an alleviation of a symptom and for the boosting of the natural system of the human body to receive that benefit. We have, obviously, the industry has, if you just look at the polls, has done a pretty darn good job in a relatively short period of time, and we're looking to keep the momentum going, because the path that has been put before us is, to be completely fair and blunt, has taken a system that patients made work against all the odds, against all of the slander and libel in the newspapers and accusations of diversion and accusations of criminality, and has turned into a system that functions, that works, and that provides medicine to people who can't afford, $15 a gram, and who actually have a serious need for the alleviation of symptoms that are literally killing them quicker than their diseases are. Now, yes, so that's sort of a bit of an overview on what I'd like to talk about next. And so episode 4 of Sanatio Strauss, which is obviously CannabisOils.ca, will be coming up next. I'd also like to state right now that I would really appreciate it if people could add comments, ask questions, and those questions, the depth and breadth of those questions is unlimited. So I would love some engagement and some interaction. So anytime anybody can post a comment or post a link or get onto Twitter and give me some feedback, it would be much appreciated. Again, thank you very much, Sanatio Strauss. And I will talk to you again shortly. I'm just going to, take care.